A beautiful good morning again. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I hope you're having a wonderful morning so far. Praise the Lord, we're alive, you're alive, and I am alive. And that means the Father has not finished with us as yet. I thank you, I give God glory, and I give Him praise. I give Him glory and praise for you who was up so early in the morning. It's peaceful, it's quiet. The birds are singing. The air is wonderful. Praise the Lord. The sun has not fully come up yet, but it's on its way up. And the same way how the sun is up, I pray that you are up in everything that you're doing, that you're rising. Just as surely as the sun shines and rises in the morning, I pray that you are rising along with that sun each and every day. Rise in everything that you do. I bless you. I give God glory for you. I pray blessings over your home. I pray that the Lord will touch your heart and draw you closer to Him. Today on Rise and Vibe. Rise and Vibe. Come on, guys. It's time to rise and vibe. And we're finishing up the Constitution section C this morning. I got into it a little bit yesterday on my last video, but I didn't finish it up yesterday. So I'm finishing up section E this morning. Again, the day is beautiful and I can't wait to get into it because it's a lot of things. It was speaking about the policies of the state and what those policies of the state should cover. Just one moment here. Let me just turn this thingy down here just a little second because it's a little bit too loud. All right, that will do that. And then I come back over here and then we start back our video. I'm trying not to touch anything because I'm not very good at this this technology thing here. Okay, so again, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Before I open up the Constitution again, I just want to acknowledge Gilbert Alamea. He will be put to rest today. Mr. Program. I want to encourage you to sow into the lives of our young people. I want to encourage you to assist them in any which way that you can. I am definitely going to do my part. However, how small it is, I will definitely commit to do my part. And again, should I be hired as the Freetown area representative, I will also use my position in order to assist our young people in getting their dreams out, their visions out, and to include them in the political process, in the political atmosphere, so that they understand and know how important it is, and that we do not have to just solely rely on a two-party system that has been conditioned in our minds. But we do not just solely have to rely on a two-party system, which has been the UDP and the PUP, but that we can start inviting independent candidates in the House of Representatives in an effort to create some balance in the House, okay? And to put some pressure, turn things up. It's 2020. 2020 has shown us a whole lot of things, right? That we have never seen before. So if everything else around us is changing and going out in a dynamic way, then we ought to rise up as well, right? We ought to do different as well. We ought to do something we've never done before to accomplish things that we have never had before, okay? And what we had never had before is a coalition government. So 2020, you can make that happen, okay? Independent candidates like myself, right? And I pray and I hope that the other independent candidates have the same agenda as I do, which is putting people first, attending to the affairs of the people, and looking at an area representative as a job, more than just a national service, but as a job, okay? That requires you to accomplish that which you said that you're going to do, and what is there for you to do, which is to serve the people, to provide equal access and opportunity to the people, and to do so without prejudice and without fear and without victimization. okay, on an equal basis for everybody, be it PUP, UDP, NIP, P, whatever P. The only P that matters is people. That's the only P. That's the first, second, and last P that matters. People, people, people. Okay? So, again, I want to thank you this morning, right? We want to give God thanks, and we pray that Gilbert rest in peace. He'll be laid to rest this morning. And again, please take time to sow into our young people, in people that you see have gifts. Please take the time to offer them your time. It doesn't have to be money. It can be your time, maybe an advice, maybe a listening ear, okay? Or maybe you know somebody that might be able to help them or to steer them with their career, with their ideas, with things that they want to do. All right? So you don't have to help people by giving money. It could be your time, and your time is far more important than money. Okay? We like to downplay people's time a lot, but time is more precious. In one sermon I heard, I understand that time is a heavenly currency. You know, like how we put money and weight, we put our weight on value on money. Well, time is a heavenly currency because we only have 24 hours of it, right? So we have to use our time wisely and give our time to people. All right? So let's get in to this Constitution, right? And again, before I get into the Constitution, I forgot about that. Came across my mind. To the family of Gilbert, you know what? I thank you guys, because if it wasn't because of you, we wouldn't have had him with us for the short time that we did, for him to bless us with his music, for his humility, and for his dedication, for his hard work. You know, he was a true example of what a hustler really is, because he hustled, you know, to put himself out there, to market himself out there. So I just really want to big up his family today, as he's been laid to rest a little bit later this morning. Okay? And let's put an end to our people that have all these gifts going to the grave full. Let's try to get it out of them before they go. Okay? All right then. Constitution time. All right. So we're on part C of the Constitution. I'm sorry, part E. Okay? Part E. But before going into part E, I want to touch a little bit on part D, which says that whereas the people of Belize recognize that men and institutions remain free only when freedom is founded upon respect for moral and spiritual values and upon the rule of law. So then, therefore, it's important for you to understand that, one, the Constitution is found on principles acknowledging God of Abraham, the creator of the heavens and the earth and all things seen and unseen, giving him credence, acknowledging his supremacy in this land. And because we acknowledge his supremacy in this land, that means his word is also supreme. Okay? So we cannot discount it. We cannot leave it out. And when we decide to do that, remember, this is a covenant that we made. This is an agreement that we make with the Most High God for him to be the supreme ruler and reign over this land. So when we break that covenant, or when we break our agreement with him, then we move his hand to judgment as a people. And then therefore the entire land will be judged. Not just one person or two person, the entire land will be judged. Okay? So it's important that we understand that. First and foremost, for those people like I said out there, those lawless people, those people that don't believe in God, those people who don't acknowledge God, or those people who like to mock God, please be reminded that God is the principles, his principles. This Constitution was founded giving him supremacy in this land. Okay? And he shall not be mocked. You can't mock him. All right? So I just wanted to get that part there clear for people to understand. Good morning, Audrey. It's good to see you, girl. I just want people to understand that part, that the Constitution, and that's why I would make reference to God's word periodically within while I'm going through the Constitution, because this Constitution was founded on principles acknowledging God. so we can't leave him out. Okay, that's the reason why I would speak about God as I'm going through it. So that's the first part, stating that God, we give him, he's the supreme being over the land. And then the second part, in that same part A, that states that we have inalienable rights, and that has been given to us by God himself, not by man, not by your mother, your father, your brother, sister, or the judge, the lawyer, the minister. No, those rights are called God-given rights, and those rights were given to you by God. So nobody can take those rights away from you. No minister, no lawyer, no ombudsman, nobody can take those rights away from you. Those rights can only go from you if you give them up. And how do you give up your rights? When you see people trampling on your rights or the rights of other people, and you say nothing, you do nothing, silence means consent. Okay? Silence means consent. In the same way, when you do nothing, that is saying, okay, I agree. All right? So the only way your rights can be taken away from you is if not taken away, but the only way you will not operate in your rights is because you give it up. I am not one. I love my freedom, and I love my rights that God gave to me. Okay? And he gave that. He is not one that gives and take back like how we like do it, right? He don't like that. So, oh wow, the men are working here. Okay. Hello. Those are the gentlemen. They're coming around for the garbage this morning. No, I always say good morning to them when I see them and stuff. Hardworking people, and we must not take them for granted either. Okay, it's a job. Somebody has to do it. All right, and it's not a deplorable job or anything like that. Like I said, there's a time, place, and for everything in this earth. All right, so when you see them, give them a little glass of water. You know, if they're early morning, you have to do your little breakfast, sending out one little thing. All right, show them that we appreciate them. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to the Constitution, right? So that's the first part of the Constitution. The opening part of the Constitution opens with that. That's the highlight of it. That we give God as the supreme being over this land, and that he gives us rights that nobody can take away from us. Okay? So no minister can go there and just with a scribble of a pen undo what God says is our rights. Okay, but they will do that if we just lay back and do nothing and say nothing and challenge nothing. Because to me, it seems that people are becoming so lawless, and the lawless folks are trying to write laws to govern the lawful folks. Okay? And that can't hide, that can't swing. We have too much law-abiding citizens in this land. We have too much hardworking, good people in this land. The problem I'm having with you, good people, the lawful people, is that you're too comfortable. And because you're comfortable, your rights are being stripped and pulled out from underneath you. And you're too selfish because you said it is not me. That's not my problem. Good morning. Yes. That's not my problem, right? You say that that's not your problem, but it is. Because if somebody's rights is taken from them in the same way, right, yours can be removed from you as well, right, by your silence, by your not doing anything, by your not saying anything. Silence means consent. When you do nothing, it's saying, okay, I'm okay with that. And these lawless people understand that. These power-hungry people that get a little bit of power and feel like they're gods, you understand? They go off of that. Your silence, us not doing anything. They love that, right? So it's important that we understand our rights so that we know when these rights are when these rights are under attack. All right? Because we can't operate like that. That is not God's portion for us as his people. Okay? He gave us free will. And you have to allow people to make mistakes with their free will. All right? You have to, that's a part of the balance in the earth. As much as how we would like to eradicate evil, it creates a balance. All right? And sometimes that same evil is used for chastisement. Because you can be okay today, but if you are doing wrong, then that same evil can be used as a chastisement too for you, to put you back in check, right? Like for a person, like I said before, a person who may have it all, but they're mean, they're this, they're that, or they're doing wrong things. In a flip of a switch, you can find yourself at the bottom of the ladder, along with the same poor people them that you used to talk about, or you despise, or used to look down to. Okay? So these things are used as chastisement. So we can't just say that we're going to take out evil, or we're going to eradicate poverty. There's no such thing. No such thing. As long as life continues in this earth, there will be good, there will be evil, there will be right, there will be wrongs, and people need it creates a balance in the earth. And all we need to do, okay, operate in our free will and understand, follow the 2 commandments that God gave us, to love him with all our hearts, our minds, and our souls, and the second one, which is to love each other as how we love ourselves. If we follow those 2 commandments, we should be fine, because we're not going to be trampling on other people, because what we don't want for ourselves, then we're not going to do for other people, to other people. But we all know that everybody is not going to do that, and that is okay. The Bible also tells you that many are called, but few are chosen. All right? So it automatically is telling you that not everybody will be saved. Not everybody will choose to do the right. That's fine. That's fine. It's not for us to try and eradicate it. These things create balance. Okay? So then the responsibility is on you, the individual. You to do what you can do or not do. Okay? So we have a beautiful piece of legislation here, but because we have not, we don't understand it, and they don't teach it in the schools. They don't teach it. So one of my things, should I get hired as the independent candidate for Freetown area division, is to champion this, to get this into the schools, to start teaching it from as early as standard 1. Okay, because by then kids have a little bit more understanding, But we can start teaching this from standard 1. Even infant 2, we can get creative with it. And maybe just the first part here that I have been going over for the past week, just this one page. So this is the first page right here. Just this one page. I'm here right now. This is part D, right? And this is just the opening excerpts. So maybe just this little part here we can introduce children to, so that they understand that the Constitution is the principles are founded with God, so that they know these things, right? From an early age, you would be surprised at the difference it would make, And even when it comes to the court and how you should be treated when the police arrest you, all of those things, these things are in here in this Constitution that I am taking up my time and going through, so we can learn it together. So we can understand it together, right? And I'm sure it will do much good, right? All right, so part E now, we already talked about part D, that says that your freedom, you have your freedom, that the people of Belize recognize that the men and institutions remain free only when this freedom is founded upon respect for moral and spiritual values. Okay, only when that is the case. So don't feel like you're free to just do things without consequence. If it is within having respect for moral and spiritual values, then you're fine. But when you go outside of that, then that's when the error comes in, and then that's when you would be violating. You'll be in violation. Again, one of the issues that came up to me when I read this same part D was that incident with that amendment to the section 53 of this Constitution, where the gentleman states that him as a man, he shouldn't be penalized if he wants to have sex with another man, that is his right, and that this Constitution violates his right. Liar. And shame on those lawyers that represented, because if they did their homework, then they didn't have to dig far in the Constitution to find out that that goes against. That's not having respect for moral or spiritual values. So right away, that court case should have been dismissed. It shouldn't even have wasted the court's time. None at all. And the people's money. Because we paid. Good morning, Kawan. Morning, girl. Yes, we paid. We spent our money on those lawyers for foolishness. Okay? This wasn't a case because by law. This is the law. All right? It shouldn't have been withheld. It upheld. It shouldn't even have reached to that stage. As soon as they say this, no, we can't hold this up because according to the law, that is not founded. That's not within respect for moral or spiritual values. So no, sir. It's your body, yes, but according to this, you're not operating, with respect to moral and spiritual values. So no, you cannot. We can't put a law that says that you will not be penalized for that. You have to be penalized because that goes against what this is saying. Not my word. It's a constitution and it is the word of God as well, right? So that's just one area that I found that was quite interesting, right? That how they passed that. Anyway, Trey. So now we get into part E of the Constitution, right? Which says that it was talking about policies of state. So when they're creating these policies, it's stating that these policies are supposed to be created to protect and safeguard some things, right? So we're going to get into what things these policies are supposed to safeguard. What are the things that these policies of state supposed to safeguard and protect? One, it's supposed to protect unity, right? And safeguard the unity of our people. So no policy of state is supposed to be created to divide our people, cause strife amongst our people. No, it's supposed to be created to unify. It shouldn't cause a division. Okay? Freedom. That's the second one. It says we're supposed to protect and safeguard the unity, the freedom, the sovereignty, and the territorial integrity of Belize. That's big, right? We talk about freedom, same fundamental freedoms and stuff. Policies of state should not go against their fundamental freedoms. And from some of the fundamental freedoms that I'm talking about, which is your basic freedoms. Fundamental just means basic. And some of the basic fundamental rights and freedoms is freedom of speech, the one that is under attack right now if we just keep sitting back and not doing anything. Freedom of speech, your freedom of expression. Okay? That's for you to be able to express yourself in any way that you seem fit. Okay? You can do that. All right? Freedom of religion and culture. So you are free to worship whatever you want to worship. But this Constitution says that the God of Abraham is the supreme being of this land. So that's another thing that we need to watch, because we have all these other nations coming into Belize, bringing their idolatry, right? Bringing their idolatry and worshiping other gods. That will move the hand of God and can cause judgment on our land, because God is a jealous God. When we go and we buy stuff, products, food and stuff from, like, say, the Asian people, we call them Chinese, but you have different Asians. You have Korean, Taiwanese, Chinese, Japanese, Laos. You have a whole, they're Asians, but we have a more a higher population, I believe, of Chinese in this country, and no Taiwanese, because it looks like our government, the front of the Taiwanese there, and so with that, people don't give nothing for nothing. And I was very frightened when I went on my first visit to Guatemala City. And I went to Guatemala City and I realized I didn't see no Chinese there. I was like, what? There was no Chinese. I went in the city of Guatemala and I not see no Chinese. They set up shop like how they set up shop here in Belize. None. I saw one Asian restaurant, and I said Asian because I wasn't sure if it was Chinese or Korean or Taiwanese or whatever. But there was only one single restaurant, and it was a very nice restaurant too. It wasn't nearly Poco Temple thing that they just throw up on every corner. Okay, so my people, please, eyes open. It's time to sleep with your own eyes. All right, Guatemala has no Chinese living there, and or maybe they are living there, but they're very palenque. I don't see them. I think the only two Asian persons that I actually saw was at the bus terminal, and they were traveling. They had the backpacks on their backs, right? I was like, what? None. Do you know why? Because Asian people, right? I did a little research on it, right? Not discriminating or anything like that, but some country people know that Asian people operate like low cost. They come in and they just eat up everything. Okay? And I believe that that's probably one of the reasons why the Guatemalan government has not been so cooperative with the Asian community to have them in Guatemala. I didn't see that. And if you don't believe me, go look for yourself. And I was all over the place, right? And I didn't see that. And that was the first thing that struck me. I was like, wow. It struck me when I actually saw the one restaurant. And I said, hey, I don't see no China. And well, of course, people of our complexion, black people, you know, most of the black people that you do see there, that's another thing that I'm like, wow. Were people going to for medical assistance in Guatemala? Most of the dark-skinned people that I did get to see, right? People right here from Belize, right, would go to Guatemala City for medical, especially the cancer patients. You know, I have my aunt-in-law that she was one. That's how I ended up in Guatemala, because I went with her and my mother-in-law, you know. I saw that and I was like, what? And then I made a comparison of what is going on here in Belize. And I said, and they just throw up these little Poco Tempo shop. And you know what? They sell alcohol. They're keeping look, this is a strategic plan to fill up our people with alcohol, keep them drunk, intoxicated. Okay, and then oppress them with all of these things so that they can't focus, you know. Then make it difficult so that they can't make a living, so that they can't be comfortable, you understand, to focus on things that really, really matter. That is the problem. That's what I see. When you walk on all of our little streets here in Belize, you see these little Chinese shops, and they treat our people so bad. For the Asian people that are a little bit nice, I thank you for that. But most of you, I'm speaking to you now, and I really don't care, because my people is first. You come to this land. Okay? You come to this land. Nobody not invite you here. You come to this land. And you came and you find people in this land. And the same people that you're skinning up your nose to, and that you're putting and that you're treating with disgust and disregard, these are the same people that have you building big buildings around the place. These are the same people you're buying up their lands. Okay? These are the same people that you don't like, that you treat with disdain. All right? And I want my people to wake up to that too. Right? I don't buy Chinese food. I stopped that from us about 5 or 6 years ago, because I don't know what they're feeding me. And further to that, besides, morning D. Besides that, I don't know what they're feeding me, and they eat all sorts of stuff that we are not supposed to eat. That's another thing I want to get into that people don't realize, right? That us as black people, our bodies, the way our makeup, thank you, baby, our makeup requires different things. Not the same thing that people with what I call non-melanated or carbonized skin, need, right? We need, the sun is good for us. The sun is good for us. Now they have us, however, people pack up in our offices not getting sunlight, right? The sun is good for us, and it helps with our immune system. The sun doesn't harm us black people. Sometimes the other day I got a key and I see some black people like myself to put on sunscreen. Well, I wanted with laugh. I'm a wanted with laugh. Even if the sun burn your skin, that is good for you. Not to put on their people their poison, not to follow their white people and to put on their poisons. Okay, because they need that, because their skin doesn't have that rich carbon like our skin does. Okay, you don't need that. Please, you don't need that. That's poison you're putting on your skin. And then when the sun hits it and that poison starts to sink into your skin, you see there's a lot of things that affects us that we don't even realize because we don't see it with our eyes and we don't feel it right away. It's time released, meaning that it happens to us over time, slowly deteriorating us over time, right? But back to the China thing now, right? Because then, like I said, this operates the same the policies of state, right? These policies should be written. Thank you, baby. That's right. And they cook with it. Thank you, Diane, for stating that about the ingredients that they put in the food, And we all know that Asian people cook with a lot of MSG, what we call accent. And that itself is cancer causing, very carcinogenic. Okay, so when you eat up, why you think people run good at Chinese food and so much? It's not because their food is nice, It's because of the MSG that they cook with it. So that MSG is addictive. So they put it in there so they actually have you addicted to their food. That's how they're making their money. And our government, which should be putting policies of state to protect us and safeguard us from things like that, are not. Because MSG is supposed to have been banned from this country because of the high carcinogenic effects of MSG, which is accent, right? Because of that, it's addictive. So if you eat it, you get addicted to the taste. It doesn't mean that food is good. It just means that you have been, just like if you take crack, you get addicted to it, right? So policies of state should be in place to protect our people against these things as well. Okay, and they're not. The health department, that's our part, the health. And I don't even know if we have a fully functioning or operating food administration department, because like I said in my one of my other videos, it seems that everything that is in this country is just it's there for as a shell, right? It's just a shell to say that we have it, but it's not functioning the way how it ought to function. There's no real substance in it, right? So things like that we need to change, right? We don't mind having the Asian people here, but we have to start educating our people on leasing their lands, to lease the lands to foreigners instead of selling the lands to foreigners. Because when they get that money, when they think so big bright in their eye poor thing, they haven't had that kind of money for I don't know how long. They still don't realize that with inflation, even if you get 100,000 now, that's not no money. It's only money for now, right? Exactly. Thanks. Exactly. And the expired food. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. And that's a big problem here at Belize, girl. But when we're talking about the lands, them, how people are selling out their lands to these Asian people, and they're building up all over the place. And I have no problem with that. In a way, but what I have a problem with is the way they treat our people, and they seclude and segregate themselves from the people. Something almost like the Mennonites them. But I guess over the years the Mennonites have gone to interact. But I know that the Mennonites still can be very prejudicial against our people as well, and they prefer the Spanish speaking people over to our people. And that you hear that all the time, right? You hear that all the time. But that's for another topic, right? But I'm talking more now about the Asians that come in now and building all these things around our people, making this money off our same poor people that they say have no money and they suffer. Who you think have these people rich now? If you take a walk on Central American Boulevard, the whole of that public boulevard is already probably sold out to to that Asian guy that owned the 88. Okay? Who you think have him in business operating? Who do you think? Our same people, the same people that they're saying is poor and don't have no and they look down pan. So my people, we have money in this country, but people have poor spending habits, right? And that comes from lack of education as well, and a conditioning to as you get money off you spend it. These things, these are fundamental things, and that they should be teaching in school. You're not supposed to have to wait high school to hear about accounting, and get basic accounting and basic accounting. That's supposed to be taught from school, from infant 1, because from then the picking and they handle money, so they need to understand the value of it, and how to make it work for them. But it's intentional. It's intentionally not taught. How can money play such a high role in society and it not be an academic course? How can it not be? Right? Because that is what have a lot of our people in bondage today. It's not that they don't have money. Even the little hustlers on the streets, it's not that they don't come into money. If they would really keep track of the amount of money that they come through, you'd be amazed. But just as they get it, it's gone. Poor spending habits. If you're spending your money on food, great. But majority of the time, it's not just on food. It's on all kind of gadgets and devices and things that you don't necessarily need. But because of status and you want 15 and they've been conditioned a certain way. Okay, so they take the money and spend it on all kind of craziness that they don't need. We don't need. So I've learned to be very mindful when it comes to spending money. And I've learned that from accounting. Okay? When you start doing bookkeeping and those things, and you start to understand the significance exactly. We start to understand the significance of money and how to apply it to your own life. That's what I'm saying. Things like that's supposed to be taught in the schools from an early age. From infant 1, start introducing them to accounting, basic accounting principles. Right? Basic accounting principles. And this is whether you are taking a general subjects, maybe whether you're interested in a science, in a matter, because you still have to spend money. So whether or not your child is more interested in science or just decide to do general studies or whatever the case may be, chemistry, biology, you still need to understand about money. So that should be just on the same page with math and English as a compulsory. But they're not. They don't want to do that. Because the banks benefit from that. Your lack of knowledge, our people lack of knowledge. They benefit from that, right? They benefit. And the thing is that they can still benefit, but these people are greedy, gravalicious. They not just want some, they want all. They want all. They want even what you don't have, they want. They come in worse than the ambulance. We always say, wah, 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 wah. Seriously. I am serious. Okay? So, again, policies of state, right? Supposed to protect and safeguard us with our unity or freedom. You understand the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of this land. I made mention of some of that in yesterday's video about the territorial integrity, when they have this whole hell of a who over the borders, right? About with Guatemala claim. You know, there is no defending nothing. When you go in Guatemala, you need a passport. Don't. So that clearly tells you that you're entering into another land. Simple. I don't know what kind of common sense then people are succumb with, or none, or lack thereof, I should say. Where you go in a court, go establish something that has already been established. Now, if you want to create one line, a specific line, well, then you put your line. But there's clearly Belize and there's clearly Guatemala. Try go over there without your documents and see. Well, I guess it's okay for them to come over here without documents, because that is the case. We have a lot of Guatemalans coming over here without documents. No, I understand it's a refugee and you're the run for your own country or whatever, but there's a conflict within this country. There is a conflict because Guatemala has a claim on Belize. So no Guatemalans supposed to be able to just come over here at will. Maybe for trade and stuff, okay, we will not stop that. But for you to get naturalized, for you to get passport and all of that, you crazy? People. What people in government that make we look that like kunomono, like they themselves don't have no education, or maybe they do have the education and they do know what they're doing, but they're getting maybe only ends underneath to have these things continue. Maybe they're being bribed, and I'm only speculating here, trying to understand the rationality behind what is going on. Because if you have a conflict of interest with a person, there is no way a Guatemalan supposed to come and get naturalization and end up with a Belizean passport. That's a conflict of interest. What is it? What is going on? Okay? That shouldn't be until they drop for their claim and we don't have to go spend no money at no court, because I hope y'all know. I hope y'all know that we didn't have anything, then that they didn't have anything to lose, they can only gain. So it is in their interest to take us to court, the country to court. But it was for our government, or the people, our managers of our affairs, the people that we elected to manage the affairs now, to go to the policies of state to make sure that the territorial integrity of this country was safeguarded and protected. You have the BDF, so you tell me that fine. No, there is a line there. We have a map, okay, and all that was needed was a mediation to say, okay, well, this is the line where we have the line of the Belmopan or half of the country, the line that we saw. So it is clear. You could have just started right from there. But it started from them giving up that waters, the 12 miles. Okay? We have a bunch of spineless people governing this country. No backbone. And you know why they spineless and got no backbone? Because they have everything. They don't sit down. And some of those things are handed down to them. Inherited. On a check. Whenever people don't have to sacrifice or anything, they don't value it. They don't value it. These people have their big law firms and their big thing, and they have their big all kind of properties all over the place. For them, bread butter part two sides, so they don't worry about nothing, but enrich themselves more. And it's sad, because I'm saying, how much more do you need? How much more do you need? You have so much 1,000 acres of land oversaw. So much 1,000 acres of land oversaw. How much more do you need? How you can be so greedy and gravalicious? Alright? What you need all of that for? Even if you still have your children, okay, you take out a little amount and you okay, this is for my children. When your children they come from behind, they could start getting their own things. Because you're teaching them. How much do you need, people? Okay? That's okay for you to be comfortable and yes, to get one couple this. Okay. But even if you see that there's an opportunity to get some land over, so can't you find it or think to yourself, well, you know what? I have some people in my constituency that needs land, so let me see if I can acquire these lands and see if I can get it for them. Even if you charge them money for help, because we understand survey fees and all of those things, But you can't have the you can't have the conscience. Everything must be for you, and you can't carry it to the grave. I said someone who live in miserable. Some of them live in misery, and they will continue living misery. I hope they're listening to me too, because they know who they are. I hope they're listening to me, and I hope they understand that my words are very, very powerful. Because greater is He who lives in me than he who lives in the world. And when I speak, I'm not just speaking of myself. I'm not speaking my own. Okay, I'm a child of God. The same God who this acknowledge as a supreme being. That's my daddy. Okay? And His will be done in this earth. No matter what we don't want to do and say, His will be done in this earth. All right. So instead of them creating, making sure that the policies of state secures and safeguards the territorial integrity of this country, they're going to play last. But they know why they're playing last, because they know that when they go as lawyers, that bill will come back to our country, and our people have to pay some wicked people to do. But you know what? I want to talk to you, my people, because I'm calling them wicked. Because it is wicked. But I'm going to tell you what else is wicked. You are. Because we have grown to rebel against God. And when we rebel against Him, we force His hand for judgment. And these things that's happening in our land right now, foreigners coming in, using the land, enslaving our people, because this is modern. This is no goes fool you. This is modern day slavery. It's modern day slavery. Foreigners coming into the land, benefiting from the land, buying up all the land, giving our people little or nothing. The same people that they're buying from are the same ones that are putting into their business and building up their business, while our people are suffering daily. They don't know their backside from their elbow because of the frustration and the burdens that has been placed upon their shoulders. But I'm saying to you, my people, that while I sympathize with us, I include myself in that because I'm still a work in progress, right? While I sympathize with us, our condition, I want to ask you today to take a good look at yourself and your life. Because you are the contributing factor. Nobody can do anything to you without you allowing them to do it. Right? And the situation that we have found ourselves into as a people is because of rebellion to God. We rebel and we allow people to bring things into our country that should not be in here. All kind of idols that are in this land right now. And we say, oh, it's free for religion and people. If we say God is the supreme being of this land, why are we entertaining other people bringing in crap into our country that will move His hand? And then remember, the problem with that is that we are buying stuff from these same people. So when we eat their food, did you know that when these people eat their food, when they cook their food, that they pray over it to their gods, their Buddha? And to the Indians, they have over 300 million gods when they worship. Do you know that they offer these food as sacrifices because they're offering it to their gods now, that their gods will bless them, so that their gods will make them prosper? Okay? And you go and you eat of that. And the Bible says, do not eat foods that were sacrificed to idols. That is in the Bible. When I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you my own truth. God's truth defends itself. That Bible says we should not be eating food that has been sacrificed to idols. And the Asians' food have been sacrificed to idols. Indian, they have been sacrificed to idols. Their products sacrificed to idols because they all offer these things. So whenever you go into Chinese store, you're seeing their little funny character and for their Buddha and stuff. Okay? That's there. You think that that's there just for style and fashion? No. That's not there for that. They have altars. Pay attention when you go into their store. They have altars. These are altars where you see some of them will just have like a little painting thing, with maybe a picture of a man or something, or writings in Asian. You don't understand it because you don't read Chinese writing. And then they'll have these little candles and incense and stuff, right? Sometimes it's just a small little area, or by the shelf, by the cashier when you go in, or in the other supermarkets. You'll find them somewhere in the supermarkets. You'll find all of a sudden you walk up and see one cat they look pan you, or one big belly Buddha. These are their gods that they worship. These are their gods that they worship. And that's why these gods are in their store. So when you go and you partake of these things, those things are already cursed. According to the Bible, I'm only sharing with you what I have read in the Bible. Read. It's not me making anything up. Our problem is that we don't read the Bible. All right? We have been taught that it's the white man book and all kind of crap. That is our history book. It's a history book. That's another topic. I'm not going to go there. But I'm going to encourage you to spend more time in your Bible and ask yourself that who are these Israelites that this Bible is written about from the beginning to the end? That one set of people. The Bible is the history book for the children of Israel, not for no other nation. The children of Israel, and the children of Israel are definitely not the leaf funny looking Asian or Caucasian people with the leaf funny looking thing coming down here with the black hat, like where Mr. The music ambassador Meganga portrayed the other time with the leaf hat and the leaf funny looking thing coming down here. Those aren't the children of Israel. Okay? Those aren't the people of the book. All right? I'm going to let you do your own research. Go and research for yourself. The people that are being called Jews today, in Revelation it tells you, woe unto them that call themselves Jews and are not. The land that is called Israel, the people that are there, they are not the true Jews of the Bible. Or else that wouldn't have been written in the Bible. Woe unto them. It's in the book of Revelations. Go read it for yourself. Woe unto them that call themselves Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. I'll leave you with that. Okay? The Bible is the history book of a people. The children of Israel. It's their history book. It doesn't belong to the Asians. It doesn't belong to the Caucasians. It doesn't belong to the Indians. It is the history book of the children of Israel. And if your ancestors were the descendants of slaves that were brought over to the west in slave ships, in the bottom of slave ships. If you were the descendants of such people, then that is your book. That's why we're so spiritual. Okay? Anyway, that's for another topic later when I done my Constitution, right? All right. So the territorial integrity of Belize is even under attack because it's not protected and safeguarded the way it's supposed to be, right? Or else we wouldn't even have this issue. Guatemala could claim all when they want to claim. The fact that we can just walk over there and then can just parade over here, That in its fact, in itself, is telling you that there is a border. There is no dispute about that. All we have to do now is come in and agree with part that border there, and we know so that it's not half of the country either. We know that it's not half of the country. We know that they're not Stan Creek, Dangriga. We know that Dangriga, PG. We know that those places are not included. I didn't even know at one point there was a part of PG that was Belize that was actually taken over by Guatemala. All right. But anyway, that's another issue. But I'm just saying that it talks about here about the territorial integrity of this country being protected and safeguarded. All right. That is a part of the Constitution. And we need to hold our leaders accountable to make sure that these things are happening. Right. The next part of it, it talks about eliminate. There should be policies of state which eliminate economic and social privilege, right? Policies of state that eliminates economic and social privilege. That means say you no more entitled than me, I no more entitled than you. Economic and social privilege, and we know again that's a big problem in this country, right? So you're hearing your rights. This is your rights. This is what the Constitution says. Right? And that the policies of state, it shouldn't cause disparity among the citizens of Belize, meaning problems, because this one they get more, just like what's happening right now underneath the UDP and government, the UDP and PUP. If you're a UDP and the PUP the in, when you go to so you're not given priority because you are not UDP, and vice versa. They both do it. That's why I'm saying that it's time that we really do something. Stop the talking. We know what's going on in this country, and it's not going to stop until you do something about it. And what you can do is, when elections day, make your voices speak louder than they've ever heard before, without even saying a word. With the stroke of your pen, you make your voice speak loud and clear. That next election, they get a sense that we're not playing, we're not joking. This is not, enough is enough. That's how you make your voice be clear and loud. Speak loud. Go there and put on the X right per my name. I am not going to disappoint you. I want to have all of these videos for sure, because everything that I'm talking about here, I'm learning myself, I'm understanding myself. You understand? So that I'm fully prepared to execute your job. Oh yes. Fully prepared to execute. I'm not going to leave no stone unturned that I can't within that 5 years, should I be given that opportunity. Yes. Okay. There shouldn't be disparity among the citizens of Belize, whether by race, ethnicity, color, creed, disability, or sex. There should be none. No disparity, right? And the policies of states should ensure gender equality. And the gender that they're talking about here is not the alphabets. All right? The gender here is male and female, because that's the only gender that the Most High God of Abraham recognizes. Male and female. There's no other gender. Okay? Liberty. Liberty is your freedom, that the policies of state protect and safeguard your liberty. The policies of state protect and safeguard basic education, basic health, and the right to vote in elections. That means you have that right to vote in every single election, and you should not be penalized for who you vote for. Even though I'm an independent candidate, I don't want to backseat nobody if they don't vote for me or hold you up. Or no want to talk to your skin up. That's your democratic right. Nobody's supposed to penalize you for that. But we can't say the same for these two mafia families, government, PUP and UDP. From 1981, we have been experiencing this. And unless you people like this, you're not tired, we're tired. When you're truly tired, we will all know. Because you will act. So I am hoping, I tired, seriously, what I do. I'm tired. So you see what I did. I'm showing my tiredness. Because I don't going to vote no UDP or BB. I don't vote for 2 on separate occasions. And they have proven to have been a failure to me. And then when I decided not to vote, I didn't go vote at all. And I said, but I know to exercise my right. You are not exercising your right to vote. So your rights are being violated because you're not represented. If you not go vote for UDP or PUP, so the UDP supporters have for them people they're represented. PUP have for them people represented, so then go support them. Where is your representative? Your representative, I should say, sorry. Where is our representative? And I say our because that's the reason why I offer myself now. Because we didn't have any. And for everybody that is a registered voter, you supposed to could exercise your right to vote. Okay? And if you're not satisfied with UDP, and if you're not satisfied with PUP, then you don't have an option. You don't have a representative. Okay? So that's why I said, you know what? No. I want to exercise my right. But how can I do so? How can I do so? If I'm not satisfied with either. Create your own. That's what I did. Create your own, and by creating your own, you're also creating for those people who think just like you, who don't want to vote PUP or who don't want to vote UDP because they don't support the slackness, right? They don't line up to the office to see where they could get from the PUP, or the PUP not to take care of them, and the UDP not to take care of them. I'm understanding right now that UDP have people bank accounts set up, so they're not even giving people money no more. People are getting a monthly stipend. Now you understand why they're die hard, PUP and UDPs. Now you understand why. And I want these people to understand you're getting that stipend, but you're contributing to the deterioration of this country. You are just as corrupt and wicked because you're taking the stand to say, as long as I okay, then they give me that money every month, so I don't have to worry about nothing. How about them not having to give you that money every month, but you have an equal opportunity, and you're living in a country that is prosperous and abundant, and you're able to partake of that, and you have a seat at the table. They're not then to sit down around the table and then they give you crumbs. How about that? Have you ever considered that you can actually sit at the table with them? That there's a plate there for you as well that you don't deserve, and you don't have to take the crumbs, the monthly stipend that they give you every month. Okay? But again, you see that comes from economic necessity. People understand that life is hard, and so they sell out, because that's selling out. You're selling out yourself when you do things like that. You accept a monthly stipend from these parties. You know, so you don't have to worry, but it's you, only you are being taken care of. What about the 500,000 people in this country that contributes to the country? Are you not concerned about them? You're only concerned about yourself. And that is the reason why we are all suffering together, because even though you're getting your little money putting in your account, I'm sure, and even if it was okay with you after you hearing this video, it's not going to be okay with you, because I've already spoken the word. And you heard it, so now you are challenged to do better. Not because they're putting a money in your account. You understand? That's why you're supporting them and their foolishness while the country is being torn down. Do you not think that God is watching that? That you are an equal participant in the destruction of His creation? Because everything in this earth belongs to God. Doesn't belong to you, it doesn't belong to PUP, it doesn't belong to UDP. or anybody in this country. Even you belong to him. So do you think that sitting there getting your money put in your account and that is okay? That's why you're still suffering. And you continue to suffer. And things will get worse with you. Because you're not doing righteously. You're not doing righteously. You shouldn't be party to that. You shouldn't encourage that. Yes, I understand times they should have something in your community to facilitate all people, not just you. Not just you, because it's not just you that contribute to the economy. Everybody does. So each area representative is supposed to have something within the community for all the residents in the community, not just because they support them. And when you support things like that, you are part of the problem. And God forgive you, but you're calling judgment upon your own self. All right? And after hearing this, I guarantee you, it will not be well with you. Because now you know the truth, and so you're supposed to do better. It's okay if you didn't know before, but you know now. Do better. If they're doing a great job and they're looking for the affairs of the country, no problem. But we all know that has not been the case. They have been doing a little here and a little there, but not enough to put people, not to empower people, not enough to put our country in a position that it needs to be. A nation full of resources, natural resources. Okay? We're rich. Don't listen to them either when they talk about we broke. They're not managing the money properly. And we're not broke either. They're saving this money for the election so they could spend your money on you. So you now could give them another 5 years to do the same thing again. Imagine. Because it surely is not their money that they spend on elections. Let me tell you that, honey. Let me tell you that. It's not their money. Okay? It's our money, our taxpayers' money. All those funds that they receive over this COVID thing here. Why you think we still have a COVID problem? They saw that as an opportunity to get funding. And the funding that they receive, if you know somebody that has actually get money, aside from their supporters, the people that support them, great, kudos to you. But I know several people, hardworking people that has worked for years, that has put in their claim and nothing, not even $75 they get. That's why I didn't even waste my time. Okay? I didn't even waste my time. We need to do better. You need to do better. It's not enough to just sit and complain anymore. This Constitution says that policies of the state supposed to protect and safeguard your right to vote in elections. And by you being bribed, that's not protecting your or safeguarding your right to vote, because you're supposed to could vote for whoever you want to without being conditioned and not be penalized for it. Not be treated differently for it because you vote PUP, because you vote UDP, because you vote for an independent. You should not be penalized for that. That is your right. And if you didn't have alternatives and options, that is what prevents tyranny. That is the balance for in government, where people are challenged that they can't do what they want. You understand? But when we don't have those alternatives, when you don't have those options, that is a breeding ground for corruption to fester. Because they know that you can only go back and forth between the two. Or that they have so conditioned your mind to think that we can't do no better. We need UDP and PUP. The country can't go forward. I want to ask you this question. What if Mr. Golson, Philip Golson, had said the same thing when he was with George Price? and saw foolishness. What if he had took that same stand and said, you know what happened? We can't do nothing. We just want to accept Judge Price and his foolishness. We can't do nothing. I just have to stay here with him. He didn't do that. He saw foolishness. He said, no, I'm not there with this. And he created that opportunity for himself. Well, here I am doing the same thing. And by creating that opportunity for himself, he gave us another opportunity. That is how UDP come about, my friend. That is how UDP come about, if you guys did not know that. From one man, Philip W. Golson. One man took the step. And he left Mr. Price and he went in and he went independent as an independent candidate. And he won. And he won. Because people are not as stupid as how people think, you know. It's just because they don't have choices. But I want you now to understand. Start stepping out into the unknown. Start taking that step, that leap of faith. Because if you can't stay there. If you stay there, you just keep getting the same thing. Mr. Golson took that leap of faith, and I'm taking that leap of faith here. You do whatever you want to do with your vote, because that's democracy, my friend. It's what democracy is all about. You have that right. But you know that you also have an opportunity, right? An alternative, that you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want to do. All right? It's simple. And nobody begs it you if you lean to the left or lean to the right, or you lean. I only have a problem with people who don't lean none at all, because you're part of the problem. If we only have a little over 100,000 people registered as voters, saying you have the right to vote in elections, that's part E of the Constitution. You have a right to vote in elections. So it is your right to exercise it. That right didn't come just like that. That came on the sweat, blood, tears of people. Why you have that right today. And by you not exercising that right, you're trampling on the blood, sweat, tears of people. Okay? That fought to get you that right. All right? So even if you say you're going to vote UDP, then that's good. That's you. PUP, that's good. That's you. Go vote. But don't sit there and take the stand and say, I don't want to vote because that the two are the same thing. I make a difference, and I know you need to be into it, because this affects you as well. Morning, Gary. Whether indirectly or directly, it affects you. Make no mistake about it. All right? So the people who have registered out to vote, please, 2020 has brought many, many, many surprises. Surprise them backside this year. Surprise them. Make your voices be heard now with that stroke of that ink. Okay? Surprise us. And make us stand now to say that enough is enough. We're not to take this crap no more. All right? So I encourage you. That's your right. It's there. All right? Require policies of state which protects your right to vote in elections. And as long as you are of age to vote in elections, go out, young people. My youths. Get up. Go vote. Get up, get out, go vote. A lot of things that are going on right now, you will feel it. And it's not fair to you. Okay? Some of these people are they're stuck in their ways. They're not flexible. You understand? They don't want to hear. They don't listen. You are going to feel it. You are feeling the effects of the burdens that they are creating. They want dead are gone. They turn off in the grave, While you are going to be feeling the effects, the detrimental effects of the decisions that they make out of not having a conscience or care for the people. Okay? So I'm pleading to you, young people. You see what is going on. All right? Don't keep your head down into that DMPS station and the games and all of these things that are put there to distract you as well. That's what those things are there for your distraction. But you're in the frying pan. Listen to me. You are in the frying pan and you're slowly being cooked. All right? You don't have to be. You don't have to be. I'm one of those people that believes the youth need to be included and believes that the youth need to be involved and believes that know that more needs to be done to put this gap. They created a whole big gap between the youths and then turn around and point fingers at the youths as if you are not responsible as an elder. So how the gap get there? That they pick the neck off from behind and put the gap? Really? So youths, this is your country, and right now you're not worried about responsibility and none of that because you haven't really felt it yet. But let me tell you, the legacy that is being left behind, there is none. And the little bit of legacy within the left, they're not for your benefit. You want to take lick. Or no want to take lick. It's going to be harder than how it is right now if we don't get new people in the seats up in Belmopan to ruffle those feathers and to create some kind of balance and to go through everything up there and see how things are really being done, because the structure is there to govern this country. It is not the structure. I don't even think that it's the system. I believe it is more the people, the caliber of people that are put there to manage it. They are the problem. And because they come from these mafia families in the country, like I said, there's only a handful of families that have their tentacles in everything, like octopus. All right? And if you do your research, you will see it's the truth that I'm talking. So we need other people to get there. Other people with vision, because apparently they don't have none. The only vision they have is for their own. They don't have vision past for their eye for other people. Okay? So unless we get other people involved, all right, this country is going down. It's on its way down, like the Titanic. But you don't have to sink. You don't have to sink because of their foolishness. You have a right, according to this Constitution, to vote in elections. All right? And if you don't have UDP and if you don't have PUP, then you vote for your independent candidates. All right? And I'm talking to you brilliant-minded folks out there that with the capacity. Good morning, Bruce. I'm talking to you brilliant-minded people out there with the capacity to lead as well. Offer yourselves, man. Offer yourselves as well. Or support the people that are offering themselves. But we have 31 constituency. Make us say independent candidates in all those constituents. You don't have to live there. Okay? Or put your name there to give other people an opportunity. Okay? To not have to feel that they have to vote only UDP or only PUP. Don't worry about winning, losing, and all of that stuff. Just offer yourself. You'd be surprised. All right? Give people, even if it's 50 people, man, give them 50 people representation that they could exercise their right to vote. Because that's the reason why a lot of people don't go and vote. Because they don't support the UDP and they don't support the PUP. Okay? So give them that right. brilliant minds sitting out there. You have the capacity to lead. That you can offer something to people. If you have a genuine heart for people, you love people and you love your country, offer yourself, please. All right? Put your name on that ballot. You just need 6 people to nominate. Your nomination day is October 21st. Have your 6 people, then they go nominate you. Get yourself on that ballot. All right? Give people another alternative to what we have been getting for so far. That's why I took the step that I am taking. Okay? I'm tired of people giving me what they want. In this case, I'm taking what I want. Because I have a seat at the table, so do you. You have a seat at that table. All right? And for the people who don't think that they do, then you go sit at the table and prepare their plates for them. Okay? And give it to them. But this crumbs thing, no, it has to stop. It has to stop. Our Constitution says we have rights. All right? The other part of the part E in the Constitution, where it talks about the policies of the state and what it should be affording people. Okay? It says the right to work. The right to work. So we now stop people from working. Then the other part of that I don't like is the part about when the vendors. I don't think that you should be bothering those vendors on the street, man. Let them make them money. Left them alone. The lead peddlers them. All right? Left them. Leave them alone. Let them work. Because they contribute. If the people then sell food on the street, they have to go to the store to buy their ingredients. And all of those ingredients, they have sales tax. So you, the government, you tax, they're paying the tax. Okay? Leave them alone, man. Leave them. That's their livelihood. That's their way to make their little livelihood. And this Constitution says that we're supposed to have adequate means of livelihood. Everybody. Not somebody. Everybody. So if you see them, trying to fend for themselves and they sell anything, left them alone. Some people say as soon as they set up a little thing, the city council, here comes the city council. Left the people alone, man. Left them alone. Go collect them lot of land tax. They millions of dollars of land tax. Property taxes. Go collect them, man. Or go auction off some of their properties and get money. Left the lead people alone. Make them sell and leave food and then leave thing. You understand? If you want to come around, you give them lead advice on how to make them lead thing more better. As long as they don't have one the structure. If they have the lead structure, then okay. And if you do the charge anything, man, be mindful, man. Be mindful, man. Be mindful. Okay? Be mindful. Be reasonable. Right now, no, not reasonable. These things are causing the hand of God to move judgment in this land. Okay? Violating people's right. Stifling their efforts to live adequate means of livelihood. Okay? Having them working in inhumane conditions, exploiting labor. These things are moving the hand of God to cause judgment in this land. So relax on yourself. Relax. Because the judgment is here already, It's here. It's here. And he's staying, he's holding, he's patient. How much time hurricane no can sit down in front of our country? How much time? But he knows that anyhow he hits this place, this government here, so this Stephen gravelicious greedy people, then were in a power, they will use it to enrich themselves more. So he waits. He waits. He waits. But I'm telling you, if we continue on this path, this country will be judged. Worse with all the lawlessness that they're putting as law now, that you are allowing. You. By not saying anything, by not doing anything. No, not as a seeker, we always a lot to say. By not doing anything. By not acting. Okay? There's a lot of lawlessness that is being put as law now. That will move the hand of God for judgment. Alright? And I'm telling you, if you leaders or the people that were in government right now, the UDP, the so-called PUP, because like I said, there's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Don't make no ghost fool you. UDP and PUP married up to one another. They're the same P. So whoever, when they coined the term PUDP, that's what it is. It's not separate. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you can change that. You have the power to change that. On election day, you have the power to change that. You have the power to shift things in this country. Shift it. You, nothing, you. But it won't happen if you do nothing. If you continue with same old. I had a PUP, come I go and a PUP, and I had and I because I had this. Okay. Don't expect no different. But know that the destruction is coming. The destruction is coming. Anyhow, any of those two parties, and you do not put in independence or other people, the destruction is coming to this country, and it will be swift. Swift. Okay? I am saying that, and it's recorded. All right? As well, the policies of state, pursuit of happiness. All right? Pursuit of happiness. Those supposed to protect and safeguard. The policies of state supposed to protect and safeguard your pursuit of happiness. Your right to work. Your right to vote in elections. Your right to unity, freedom, the sovereignty of Belize, the territorial integrity of Belize. These policies are supposed to safeguard and protect. Is it? What do you think? What do you think? Where's the evidence? Let's see what the evidence is. Is it? Has it been doing that? And again, if it hasn't, who's responsible? Not them, you. Me and you. Right? Again, you see what I'm doing? Instead of say, I know I vote because I'm not happy. You see what I'm doing? I offer myself as an independent candidate. It's done. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing? I not happy, so I do different. Something, that I've never done before. Because I need something that I never had before. I need opportunity. Not just for me, I need opportunity for my children. I need opportunity for my cousins, for my nieces, for my nephews, for my best friends, my neighbors, my colleagues. I need opportunity for all of these people. Okay? And for the ones that are awake, up, see what's going on, understand what's going on. I'm sure you want the same for your people in your environment too. And if they're not awake, then it's your responsibility, who is awake, who sees what's going on, who understands what's going on, to rise up for them. Okay? Yeah. Pursuit of happiness. Your policies of state supposed to protect the identity, dignity, and social and cultural values of Belizeans. Okay? You hear it? The policies of state supposed to protect and preserve, safeguard, the where am I? The identity, dignity, social and cultural values of Belizeans. All Belizeans. Those policies should protect and safeguard those things as well, including Belize's indigenous peoples. It says it right here. See? Including Belize's indigenous peoples. Policies of state, safeguarding and protecting that for all of us. Are they doing it? Is it being done now? Do the people that we have elected to manage the affairs of the country championing these things? Check the evidence. Check the evidence. It says the policies of state also supposed to protect and safeguard, preserve the right of the individual to ownership of private property. So you can own private property. Oh gosh, that's another problem though, because people can't even get lease land, much less private property, unless you buy it. And most of our people can't afford to buy property. Again, check the evidence. Okay? It preserves the right of the individual to the ownership of private property. It's there. You can do it. But the process to get it, it's there. You can get it. That looks wonderful in writing, don't it? It looks wonderful in writing. But the process to get to private property should also be easy. What's the point of having it there as a right and people can't access it because of all the things that we have to go through? It's like giving with one hand and taking away with the next. So one of the other things that I said I would champion, right, is the land ownership process, right? To make it easier from application to acquisition. It should be easy. There should be steps there. Easy to follow. Easy. No. Go and come back and come. Go and you have to see this one and or this one they on maternity leave. That one they sick. You can't. It's crazy. It doesn't matter if somebody's on maternity leave. It doesn't matter if somebody's sick. There should be a process where the facilitation of any governmental services does not depend on whether somebody is in or out of the office. So I used to like ask a question. So what happened if they're dead? That means that we not get a service there no more? Because the person end up dead now? I mean, if it's a problem because they're on maternity leave, oh my gosh, please, make we pray that they're not going to go dead. Because that would mean that we won't have access to that service. Not at all. Because they're dead. We have to go to the cemetery. Go. I'm laughing, but it really is that funny. It really is that funny. We have to go to the cemetery to go get or finish the application. It doesn't have to be like that, my people. It doesn't have to be like that. They have one set. You could create one standard, one set thing to be done. If somebody have to go on maternity leaves, well then you get a temporary employee to fill that spot. And I mean, it's as simple as, okay, this is the process for the land application. So if anybody come in, they don't need to say nobody here, nobody, or Miss Jane we gone on maternity leave, or Mr. Doe we're dead, we're sick, another in or he on vacation. That one day he on vacation. So you must wait till he come back from vacation to finish your business. All of that I'm talking about just now, that is structural violence. It's just as bad as domestic violence. It's structural violence. It's violence against our people. Why must I have to wait for somebody to come off a vacation to access a governmental service? that this Constitution says, this Constitution here says I have a right to, and that there should be policies of state to ensure that these things is not limited or restricted from me because I am a Belizean citizen. That's a simple, running the government is just like running a business, you know. It's just like running a business. So, land ownership will create, these are the steps in acquiring the land. And any employee, anybody can go there and follow those steps. So if Miss Lady have to go on maternity leave, okay, she go get another person. This is what we do in order for, this is the process for land. So if anybody comes in, this is what you do. Okay, the application, the this, that. That's it. That's it. You don't have people that turn their wrong, man. People travel from Corozal, people travel from PG, go away their lands, and I get turned back. Told to come another day. They don't even know if these people have, it's the last money that they're spending to come there to take care of their business. It happened to me. And you know what I did? I sit down right there. And I said, I am not going anywhere. I sat at Belmopan 2 times in my life, refusing to go anywhere. And both times, I got what I wanted. Like me. I was prepared. I tell them I want to sit down until 5 o'clock if I have to. But somebody have to attend to me. And I sat where they could see me. I'm already up here. You're not going to tell me go and come back. Belmopan isn't down the street or around the corner. I live in Belize City. Okay? And furthermore, you don't know if that was my last money I spent on bus. Figure up there. For when I reach there, you're going to tell me that I must go and come back. When the computer is sitting right there, and all you need to do is lend me 5 or 10 minutes of your time? No. I sat right there. I told them, I said, oh, no, I'm not going and come back. I'm so sorry, honey. I come from Belize City. No. And it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I sat there. I sat for 2 hours. People walk up and down. See, these are things that prompt me to do what I'm doing now. Because then if I'm seeing that is happening to me, then that means it's happening to other people too. And other people might not have been as bold as me to say, well, you know what, if I have to sit down, and because I done that, I build my pan. So why am I leave from to go back there again? And then when you go back up this again, they might tell you the same thing. That's structural violence. That's violence against our people. I sit down right there. I pull one chair, and I pull a chair in the middle of the walkway where everybody passes off. And I sat there. And I was observing everything. It was the mapping section of the lands department, to be specific. I just wanted to locate one land, that's all. Because this person have a land for years, and he can't find the land. And every time they go to the telling this and telling that. Okay? And I said, you know what? No, man. I sat there and I said, and then the person wasn't able to concentrate themselves. I said, I'll do it for you. And they tell me I must go and come back because then they move and I don't care. It's Monday to Friday. The governmental offices are open from I think 8 to 4, 5. Well, supposed to be 5 o'clock, but everybody know finance service start from 3 o'clock means that pack up figure, you know. But I'm here doing office hours, regular office hours. You not tell me go and come back, and I want you to take that same attitude. Stop have people pushing you around. Stop accepting no. When you're right there, stop that. Don't have them do that to you anymore. Stop it. Twice that has happened to me on 2 separate occasions, and I sat right there. I sat right there. Okay? And I told him I'm not going anywhere. I said, well, I don't know. I want to sit down. I said, because whoever for deal with me have to pass me. And I sat there, and as I sat, I was paying attention to what was going on. People weren't doing nothing. Honestly. And I watched, and I said, imagine, Elizabeth. Watch these people. They weren't doing nothing. One come move one table, the next one, and there were people sitting at their desks. You know, Miss with the move right now, the land when they moved from the mapping department and something, and then could move wrong. My God, what is it with that? That's the next thing that needs to stop. But you know what? That's another hustle. Because all these buildings that they're renting, that they're moving back and forth into, they're renting. So this one will get 6 months rent. That one they want get 6 months rent. They are move and they go over here. That's another hustle. If you check the buildings and stuff that these people are renting back and forth from the governmental offices, it's the same politicians. They own it, or they're folks. It's a hustle. PUP do it, UDP do it. That have to stop too. With all the money that gets squandered, you mean to tell me we can't just have one secure governmental offices that is secure, properly built, like the one where the building that's being built right here on Chatamal Street. Government, we have a lot of national lands, so that's not a problem for you to acquire the land, to set aside this piece of land, to just build the government buildings there and have all services facilitated underneath that one building. What is the problem? Instead of have people all over the place, immigration move. Immigration is now here on the northern, on the west, on the Philip Wilson Highway. Move from the Charles, the back up, what we call Totoba, we call it the building, Charles Hyde building, Baka Martins, right? So they moved the immigration building. So now this person must, and the building that I noticed that they put the immigration building, those buildings have been there for years. Two big, nice buildings. I don't know what is the story behind them. What are their name? Right across from the guys that does the AC, and selling tires. What is the name? But any which way, immigration building is there now. So I guess they realize that election come and they don't know how they stand. So everybody they try get their piece of rent. What is the purpose of moving the buildings them around? Every time you have to look for this, look for that. What is the purpose of that? And we sit there and we don't do anything. Okay, fine. If you want to sit there and don't do anything, fine. But when you see people like me getting up and bringing these issues, putting this, it's because it's what I'm paying attention to. It's what I'm paying attention to. You know, maybe I could be like you and not see it, but whatever the reason is, God has brought it to my attention. He has put it in front of my eyes and I'm receiving it. And it's not making me feel good. It doesn't bring comfort to me when I see it. So then I move to act. Okay. Acting on my behalf or on your behalf, I move to act. Right? Anytime, whenever you want a governmental service, you have to go here, there, everywhere. They look for these places. It shouldn't be so. That is a hustle. That is a hustle. The amount of money they spend in the rents, they could have put towards that houses these things. That is out. That's another thing I can champion on your behalf, on our behalf as a people. Okay? These are things that we can champion for the betterment of the country, because that's a lot of waste money. A lot of money is being wasted that could be put to good use. You understand? And that's why we find ourselves in a lot of these predicaments. And I'm saying, as long as we still have those people in government running the affairs of the people, then we will still get the same thing. All right? We'll keep getting it. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because they're digging us deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. And it's you, the young people, and your children that will have to pay for those things that you didn't even get to benefit from, or your ancestors, because we're not the benefit. We're getting debts, but we're not benefiting from it. They're throwing up all of these streets around infrastructure. Oh, look what UDP do. Oh, central bank. Central bank wasn't nothing for this country because central bank is not government and is not owned. We all know that central bank is a private institution. Or for you that didn't know, now you know. Private central bank is a private institution, and it's led by the same Jews. It's owned. Rothschild. All central banks are owned by them. Okay, so I don't even know why we needed a central bank. Okay. And they said that they're there for regulation and tara whatever. Because they ain't regulating nothing. They're regulating how to get your money out of your pocket and keep you as a slave to them. Because if they were regulating anything, then they will deal with these banks with these high interest rates and foreclosures and taking away people's property, setting up people with their little clauses and stuff in their mortgages and all of these things. Setting up people. If they were there to regulate anything, they'll be regulating that. But they're not there for that. They are there to keep you as a slave, to keep you in bondage. I realized that and I said, nope, that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. I'm not going to be a slave to anybody. Because the Bible says the borrower is slave to the lender. So because our country is in so many debt, we are slaves to whoever loan us the money. There's nothing wrong if you want to borrow and that money is going to bring back more money for you. Like if you're going to be investing in a house property, I always tell people, if you're going to be buying a house, don't go stop or you want to buy no house for just you one living and have to pay a mortgage on that. No, honey, don't do that because you could get sick, you could lose your job. You don't know what will happen. So if you're going to do something like that, you would actually go and borrow the money and do a rental. So you could live in a part of the property but rent the other part so that money, you understand, helps you pay for that mortgage. If not, cover all of it. That's being wise. And these banks, they know that, so they put these long mortgages and stuff because they know that life is delicate, it's fragile, so anything can happen at any time. And it always does happen. And they benefit. Even if they have, if you're paying property insurance or what they call private mortgage insurance, when you default on, there's a whole lot of things I know, Thank God. And I learned and I know from experience. That's why I can talk to you. All right. And I research a lot of things. Yes. So I can't keep these things to myself because it's wicked. I can't. God will punish me for something like that if I keep it to myself. Right? But you have your mortgage insurance. If you default on your mortgage, did you know that the insurance company pay off? So if you owe $100,000, the insurance company pays that to the bank. Yet still they will turn around and come to you and tell you that you still owe them. And they don't pay the insurance. You do. You pay for it. So since you're paying for it, and if you default for whatever reason, and the insurance pays it off, your debt is finished. Your debt is finished. It's paid off. But they will come to you and tell you that you still owe them. So you will still try. So even if you, let's say that you go back and you refinance it and say, well, okay, then I will try to finish it, and you continue paying off the say $100,000. Remember, they already got paid that $100,000, So if when you continue and you work something out with them and you get to keep your house or whatever, they already got that $100,000, honey, and you're still paying them for something that they have already been paid for. All right. And if in the case that you did not work out something with them and they foreclosed on your property and they took your property, or no, they don't took your property. Let me do a wake-up call for you. It's not your property until you paid for it. As long as you're paying a mortgage, the property that you have belongs to the bank. It's not yours. All right? So when they claim back their property, okay, and then they tell you, and then they end up selling it to somebody else, they got that $100,000 from the insurance. They got the money that you have put into the property while you were paying your mortgage. And then no, they create a new agreement with somebody else for the same property. So do you know how many times they sell the same house? Do you know how many times? That is really rightfully yours because you had a contract with them and they received money to cover that contract from the insurance company. Okay? So that cleared your thing. They didn't lose. They got their money back. So where's the central bank to regulate wickedness like that? Where's the central bank? Wickedness. Or because they know their friends, they set up. There's so many ways, man. There's so many ways. There's so much things wrong. There's so many things wrong that we have to, my people, have to. This is the life and death thing now. We have to. We can't sit comfortably anymore. We have to get out of this comfort zone and start rise up. We have to. Okay? Back to my Constitution again because time to go. And I really want to finish D. I'm in E so I could move on. I'm E and F because I want to do F too. So I could start with part 1, get into the state. The next the part 1 covers the state and the Constitution, tells you what it's about. I think I can do this today and then go into part 2 tomorrow. Part 2, which covers the protection of fundamental rights and freedom. I will do part 2 tomorrow. So I'll finish this whole section here, part D, F, and go into part 1. And then I'll do part 2 tomorrow. I'll try to do, those are good. Because this is a great discussion. And please feel free, if you're logging on and there's something that you can share, please comment, message me, let me know. Or if you're concerned about something or whatever, you have a question, put it to my attention and stuff. Because like I said, I don't know everything. I'm only sharing with you from my own perspective and opinion. I don't know everything. So please lend your perspective, your opinions, your things that you know, right? Because that's how we are to operate as a society. I help you, you help me. Okay? And once we start adopting that mentality, then we're going to see difference in this country. Because you touch one, you touch all. And all for one and one for all. That's how it ought to be. And that is not far-fetched, people. It's not. We can get it to that. We can get it to that. Right? And I will do my best to put my part to contribute what I can. I pray and ask God, okay, for next 46 years or 50 years or whatever, or however long He have me here in this earth. But I'm contributing to that, to the betterment of my people, to the upliftment of my people, to the awakening of my people. Right? Simple. That's what I can do. And that's what I'm doing. Anything else that I can do, I will also do it too. But for now, this is something that I know I can do. Right? And I'm willing to do. Because it's not difficult. And the benefits is priceless. Okay? So, here we go to the ownership of private property I was talking about. And the right to operate private business. Right? You have that right. We have that right. I kind of touched on that just now. Private business. Even the little street vendors on the street. Those are private business. Right? Whether you own a big company, a small company, or just you're a vendor. You have the right to operate your business so that it could contribute to your livelihood. Okay? We require policies of state. Which prohibit the exploitation by man or by the state. You hear that? These same policies of state prohibits the exploitation of a man over another man or by the state, which is the government. So then the government itself is not to exploit people. It's right there. It prohibits that. Exploitation of man by a man or by the state. I love this. And that is part E of the Belize Constitution. The first part, the very, very first section of the Constitution, before we even get into part 1, part 2, and the rest, right? Part 1 that deals with the state and the Constitution. Part 2 deals with the protection of fundamental rights and freedom, right? But this states here, it prohibits the exploitation of man by man or by the state, right? And we also supposed to, these policies of state supposed to ensure a just system of social security and welfare, which protects the environment. Do you hear what all these policies of state supposed to protect and safeguard? Social security and welfare. Social security. When we hear social security, that's another shebang. All of these things are operating, and we have these things operating as shells, because they don't have no substance. They don't have a substance. The administrations of these departments are where most of the funds go to, not the people that are to benefit from these administrations. From these departments, sorry. The overhead costs, the operating costs of these departments, that will all the money get trickled into, not the people that's supposed to be benefiting, right? So the social security of the people, policies is there, and it's supposed to protect and safeguard it. The welfare of the people, supposed to be policies supposed to be there in order to protect and safeguard. Okay? Policies of the state supposed to protect and safeguard the environment. The environment. All right? Our entire environment. You understand? So people need us to cut down acres and acres of land because we need the trees. All right? Clear. They like to do clear cut. Acres and acres and acres of land. Yes, I understand we need it for farming and stuff like that, but we have to be mindful, because everything, whatever we do, affects something else. Right? And if you're going to cut down acres and acres and acres of land, that's acres and acres and acres of trees. Right? So then you will grow. Drop seeds in another area and then to replace these trees that you're cutting down, because that's another part of self-sustainability, right? If you're cutting down trees, please plant back trees. Plant them back. Drop down seeds. The ones that you are cutting down, place them in another area or whatever, because we need trees. We need that greenery that we take for granted. It works hand in hand with us, and they're very alive. That's why they grow. It grows because it has life in it. Trees, plants, herbs, animals, but I'm specifically talking about the trees that we so take for granted. We only use it for shade, and like I said, for medicinal and stuff like that. The trees is used, the logs are used for lumber and various other things, but we take it for granted, right? Plant them back. You cut them down, plant them back, but try not to cut them down if you don't have to. You understand? Because it contributes to us. They all do. They play their role. We have a healthy logwood industry that people do not know about. Again, I spoke about this in one of my other videos. That is the Mennonites that benefit off of this logwood industry. I know that because I used to be the manager of 2% of this country up in Corozal. over 95,000 acres of land I was a manager of. And when I'm in the area, all the Mennonites up, they know me. Majority of the Mennonites know me. Because of that, the lands that I was managing, so they would have to deal with me if they want to cut, if they want to harvest any of the logs from off of the property, they would have to come to me. Okay, and I'm not one that just sits in the office. For those of you that don't know me, I'm very versatile. I'm very flexible. I put on some boots and go in the jungle now. That's where I'm most free. I love the jungle. I took a few people to the jungle. Those of you who I took with me know who you are. You guys know who you are. I scared the living daylights out of some of them. But I'm very flexible. Very flexible. Okay? I've been in the jungle. I know, man. Drove through water that covers my vehicle. Scared the living daylights over. But people that are in the vehicle. Some of you, if you're listening to this video, yes, I'm still laughing at you. Screaming, holding on to the poor vehicle. They think that they're going to die. Out there pitch dark in the night. It's scared of the animals. I always tell them, I said, look, that is like 200% more than you being attacked by a wild animal, when you're out in the forests, in a woody area, the jungle, right? It's far more. They're more scared of you than anything, right? So I have seen a lot of this country. I'm thankful for I used to be the manager of that company, so I'm glad, and it was one of the things that I enjoyed most about doing the work, even though I was actually the accountant. But I had to play operations manager at times. I had to play director at times, and I love the operations manager part more, because then I had to oversee the rangers, make sure that they had their provisions for whatever season it is, that they never lack provisions, because sometimes the roads are really bad, you can't get in, you can't come out. They had everything that they needed while they're there, because then there wasn't communications like that either, except for the few Mennonites that would come through whenever they do, So you're not speaking to an amateur here, or there's not an amateur here before you. I know how to manage some stuff, I took a while where I took a break for a while, because I was going through I was getting sick. I was getting sick. Part of that sickness was because I was stressed. I was overworked. That's why I'm telling you that overworking yourself is real. And when you overwork yourself, right, it brings on sicknesses. I was very dedicated to my job. I love my job, and to the people that I oversee, because I know how critical it was for me to make sure that they have what they needed when they needed it. I drove through Bomba and Mascal, sometimes 2-3 in the morning, sometimes by myself, sometimes to check on them to make sure everything was okay, so I didn't just sit in the office, right? So I know how to manage some stuff. Just so happened that there was a time when I literally was sick, and I kept going to doctors, and they didn't know what was the problem with me, and they said, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, but I couldn't do much. I couldn't do like simple things, and I remember this doctor. He was Dr. Garcia. He was the doctor that was killed up here, a doctor that was killed. I remember he was who I went to him finally, and I explained what's going on, and he said, Miss Elizabeth, I can't see to find anything wrong with you. But what kind of job you do? And then I start telling him what all I did and stuff. And he said, oh my gosh. He said, that's your problem, man. I said, what? He said, you're stressed out. Stress. And then he started, I didn't know that stress triggers, stress triggers things in your body that would bring ailments that would seem like diseases. But because of stress, and if you continue under stress, you get sick. But it's not because you're just sick, like you're actually experiencing, but it's the stress that will bring that sickness to you. It's very serious. So if you guys didn't know that, please, not to work for nobody and overwork on yourself, or they overwork this. Because I went through like 2 years where I took lick and I couldn't understand what was going on with me. Seriously, for a long time. I had to stop. I had my own little business that I was doing, managing other people's properties and stuff. Even with that, I had to just relax off of that. And it was because of stress. I was overworked, and that was causing other problems with me that I didn't even know. Sometimes I couldn't even get up out of my bed. Literally feel like somebody may beat me up. Like really, headaches, my top of headaches. I didn't know what was going on with me, and this was happening for about 2 years, almost 2.5 years. Years. And then I finally, when I did stop, I said, you know what, I need to let go.